Hi everyone, I hope you are well today. I'm Catalina. Thank you for joining our yoga by donation class. And remember to chip in anything that helps a lot to fund the projects. So today we're gonna have a fusion class, and I wanted to say that the only mention of postures or asana in the scriptures, it goes like Sthira Sukha Asanam. And this means that when you hold a posture, ideally you are graceful. So this means you just use the muscles or whatever exactly you need, like the right level of activation, and then you try to be at ease. You try to be at peace, you try to breathe in a relaxed way. So try to work through the class to keep this ideal. Obviously, if you're feeling a discomfort or you're really like, oh my goodness, my muscles are working a lot, it's a challenge, but that's part of the challenge, that's part of the learning. So while we practice today, try to keep that in mind, and if you feel like oof, this is getting difficult, or maybe this is intense, get back to your breath, breathe deeply, and try to find that sense of ease, that sense of grace, so you can be still in the posture and yet active, okay? So today we are going to begin with child pose. It's also called balasana. So let's go to child pose. So roll over your knees and try to get your toes touching together, knees apart, and we're going to place our torso in between our knees. And your hands, at the beginning, we're going to make this shape in front of our head, and take your forehead down and just chill here for a while, allowing yourself to drop, and take your attention to the connection of your toes and your fingertips. And feel perhaps a tingling, and just notice the touch between your fingertips and your toes. And try to breathe deeply, in the sense like as you inhale, you expand, and you sort of attempt to create space. And every time you exhale, you relax more to the ground, trying to not resist the posture, not to resist gravity to taking you down. Settling in and taking your awareness inside of your body and the sensations. If you need to get a cushion under your torso, that's okay. And now straighten your arms, but leave everything else exactly as it is. Straighten your arms forward, stretching those shoulders, pressing the floor with your hands, and then relax your elbows down to the floor, but stay here one more time for a little longer. And now take your attention to your forehead and feel the touch of the ground in your forehead. Continuously breathing a little deeper than normal, trying to be aware of your breath. Relaxing into the posture. And now walking your hands over to the right and lift your chest over your right knee and stretch in the diagonal, towards the diagonal. And make sure your left sitting bone or your left hip is not lifting, so you sort of push that hip down so that your left side of the body is reaching down the ground, and you feel the stretch. So find the gracefulness in this posture, so as you stretch, you still try to be relaxed. One more breath. And now walk your hands all the way to the left, to the diagonal. Lift your torso over your left knee and stretch. Complete your left hand over your right hand to help you ground the right side down to the floor. And use the breath. One more breath here. And then walk your hands back to the center. This time, go on over your fingertips. And in the center, stretch, looking up to the front, trying to get your torso down, like your chest down to the floor, but still in a variation of child pose. You can have your forehead in the floor if it's uncomfortable to have it lifted. Otherwise, keep your head up. And then walk your fingertips a little forward, lifting your hips, and find where you need to stop. You don't have to go all the way, but if you're really comfortable, you can go and then plant your hands down and plant your chest down. And from there, maybe you go a little forward. Don't force yourself, so whenever you feel, oh, this is enough for me, then you just stay there. It's all good. Now push up, so you lift your torso and walk back your hands. And this time, take your toes together and your heels together. Yep, but you keep your knees open, right? So from the back, you will look something like this, yeah? Now, as you go back, you will feel the stretch. So you find where you need to stop. You don't have to go all the way back to sitting. This is the final expression of the posture, but you don't have to go all the way there. The moment you feel something, you stop. Make sure you are working to have your heels and your toes together, right? So that's what makes the posture, the touching. They may open, that's okay, stay there. Interlace, say, hug your thumb with the other fingers and place them on top of your thighs and close your eyes here. And work on relaxing your weight down to the floor rather than resisting. Breathing deeply. 5 breaths. And open your eyes, and as you exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Go on your hands and knees, and we're gonna do the thread and needle. So inhale, lifting your hand up. I just hold here for about 2 breaths, really lifting up. Taking your attention to your thumb, so you begin to control your mind as well. Inhale, and as you exhale, take your hand through your arm, getting to the floor, landing on your right shoulder and looking up. And with your left hand, you can sort of gradually find the depth of your twist. The same applies, do not force, just find that sense of enjoyment in the stretch. Now take the left arm, if you wish, it's optional, up to the ceiling. And look to your thumb. You can stay where you were before. And sort of try to keep your hips squared. They will tend to tilt. One more breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, take the left hand back to the floor. And inhale, lifting up, taking the right arm all the way up again to the ceiling. Inhale, reaching up, and then exhale, gently taking that arm back to the floor. We go to the other side. So inhale, lifting up, stretching with the left arm up to the ceiling. Looking to your thumb. Continuously reaching up. In your next exhalation, go down and thread the needle, taking your left arm through your right, left shoulder to the floor, and twist, looking up or in that direction. And if you feel really comfortable, you can extend your right arm up to the ceiling, looking to your thumb, being aware of your hips, trying to keep them square. One more breath. Exhale, taking that hand down to the floor. Inhale, lifting up, raising the left arm all the way to the ceiling. We hold for about 2 breaths here. And exhale, hand down to the floor. So now stay in your all fours. And we're gonna do a little exercise. So take your knees together, feet together, and your hands right under your shoulders. So this is the kind of exercise that you want to do with quality rather with thinking of quantity. We're gonna go down to the floor, lifting your feet off the ground, but ideally it's not this, and you don't have to go all the way. So maybe you will stop here, and that's okay. If you want, if you feel you are on for the channel, then maybe you go all the way down to the floor and take your head and then push back up. But again, this can be your option, all good. Make sure you're engaging your core, and then down as you exhale, up as you go up. So it's going forward. Imagine you're gonna land your head in a triangle with respect to your hands. So if your hands are here, your head is gonna land in the top of the triangle. So inhale, and then exhale, going forward, head down, and then inhale, pushing up. And elbows in, don't let your elbows get open. Shoulders back, so you're sort of engaging all your body. Inhale, exhale, going forward, deep, and then inhale up. Remember, you don't have to go all the way. Maybe it's a little movement. It doesn't have to be huge. So find your level. One more, and inhale, pushing up. Whew, getting warm, good. Now tuck your toes and lift only your knees, and we're gonna hover here for 5 breaths. Engage your core. Hold your knees off the ground. Neck extended. One more breath. Exhale, knees down, and exhale down to child pose for 2 breaths. One deep breath. And 2 deep breaths. Now go up again to your all fours on hands and knees. Tuck your toes and lift again your knees off the ground. This time take the right leg all the way off the ground. And hold. Find that grace. Push through your shoulders, round, engage your core. Exhale, change leg. You can drop to child pose if you need to. Your knee can be just there, or you find your own challenge. One more breath here. Exhale. Down to child pose. 2 breaths. Make them deep as you can. And now lift up, tuck your toes, and we're gonna go to a full plank, although you can choose on stay in a kneeling plank. If this is already good enough for you, then stay here, otherwise go to a plank. This is a rounded plank, and we're gonna tuck our tailbone a lot. And we're gonna shift our weight back toward the ball of our feet, as pushing back, yeah? And take your attention to your core when you push back. This sort of balances the weight of the plank in all our body rather than be only on your shoulders. So we want to engage that core.
Now inhale going forward, exhale going backwards. Inhale going forward, exhale going backwards. One more, inhale, exhale, stay here. Inhale and exhale going to downward facing dog. And really push evenly through your hands, make sure all your knuckles are pressing down the floor. Especially the index finger knuckle tends to lift, so press it down. And deepen your breath. Close your eyes and really feel the posture. Perhaps your heart is a little faster now. Blood circulating. Now look at your toes, opening your eyes, and lift your toes off the floor, or attempt to. It's okay if they don't lift. It will take time for that circuitry to form. Do your best to lift them up and spread them open. And if they're up, then try to land them down to the floor one by one. Conscious movement. One more time, toes up. And then one by one, down to the floor. And exhale there, just one breath. Now take your right foot and flip it to the top so that you stretch your toes. Now the other foot, so swap. The other foot goes in inverted position, so you stretch those toes down. Here you decide how deep the stretch is. The more weight you put on your foot, well, the more stretch you will feel. Keep pressing through your shoulders, don't slip your upper body. And toes back, foot back to normal. Looking between your hands, and we'll walk, but round your back first, as if you were going to a plank, and lift your foot, each foot, very consciously until you reach the front. Inhale, halfway lift on your fingertips. Let's hold this for a little while here. Really taking your attention to your belly button going down to the floor, your collarbones or shoulders open back towards your lower back, chest going forward, head up. You can also have your knees bent like this, maybe holding your shins. Exhale now down all the way to Uttanasana. And relax here down. You can have your knees bent as well. If you don't need to have your knees bent, that keep them straight. And really relax here as much as you can. Say yes with your head, yes. Bouncing, bouncing, bouncing with your torso as well. So you sort of relax the lower back and the upper back. Sort of letting go your torso down to the floor. Now stop the bouncing. And gently begin to roll up, rounding your back. Opening your arms, extending them to the sides as much as you can. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, hands to the heart center. We're gonna say one long Om. So inhale. And opening your hands down, looking to the floor. Make sure your feet are grounded. You're pressing like a tripod, 3 points, down on the knuckle of the toe and the little finger. And they're spread open your toes. Inhale, reaching up. And we're gonna hold this posture for a little while as well. Reaching up, tailbone under. It seems like you're doing nothing, but if you're really active, you are actually reaching up. And it's a gentle activation, not over tensing or anything like that. Shoulders are touching your face, that's how much they're lifting. Hands pressing together, all the knuckles together. And exhale, pivoting your hips back, reaching as far as you can with your fingertips all the way down to the floor. Exhale here. 3 breaths. 1. Deep breath. Following your pelvis. 2. And 3. Inhale, halfway lift. Look into the front of the wall. Exhale, take your right leg back and then your left leg back. Hold the plank for 5 breaths, or your kneeling plank. Trying to find a sense of ease in your plank. Maybe looking 1 meter in front so your neck is lifted in line with the rest of your spine. And here you're going to choose going down to the floor using your knees first, or you can go straight from plank. If you're going to go straight from plank, then lean forward and then bend your elbows as you exhale down. You can go all the way to the floor. Undo your toes, lift into a baby cobra. We're going to hold this baby cobra. Make sure you're not using your elbows, your hands, or anything. Just your back muscles. Legs really active, pressing together. It's not just there, they're pressing together and pressing down. Kneecaps up lifted. And try to focus on breathing nicely. One more breath. Choose staying here or opening your legs, hip width apart, hands to the floor, and pushing up to an upward facing dog. This time we're going to keep our chin in, so you can focus on relaxing your hips. So we really don't have tension there. We're going to relax our hips, but our legs are really strong. Now shoulders pushing up and back. So see if your shoulders are going forward and take them back and down. Now take your attention to your chest, and as you inhale, lift your chest up. And then if you're really comfortable, then look up. One more breath. And as you exhale, take your hips up and go back to a downward facing dog. You can also transition through your knees when you're going up to downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. In stillness. Notice if this downward facing dog feels better than the last one. Now inhale and lift your heels off the ground, really stretching your toes and lifting the sitting bones up to the ceiling, and press your chest down towards the floor and towards your thighs. And hold this posture for 2 breaths. Now inhale here, and as you exhale, land your heels to the right side. Now inhale, heels up again, and exhale, landing then to the left side. So like a little twist. Now inhale back to the center, heels up, and exhale, heels down, round your back and begin to walk towards your hands. Exhale here, 1 breath only, and inhale all the way up. Looking at your thumbs up in the ceiling, and exhale, hands to the heart center. Now bend your knees, just take your hands to the front, and hold your squat. Even if your squat is up here, it's all good. Find your level of squat, and try to relax in your squat so that you can go down. Now take your hands and interlace them, your fingers behind your head. Look down to the floor, but try to open your shoulders. So try to open your elbows to the back. One more breath.
Now undo your hands, take them to the front. Inhale and keep them bent on your knees. As you raise your arms to the ceiling and hold this variation of chair pose of Uttanasana. Utkatasana. Lifting your shoulders, keeping your knees bent. Look at your thumbs. Inhale and exhale, taking your torso towards your thighs, straightening your knees, and exhaling there. Inhale, halfway lift. Look to the front. Exhale, right leg goes to the back. You want to stay in this lunge. So here you want to be able to lift your hands. That means your legs are really active, pushing the mat apart. You're not resting there, this time we're active. But we're trying to find a sense of grace, so rock your hips one side and the other, so you're exploring and lubricating that hip joint. And now inhale, look up, sort of arching your body. And then as you exhale, you're gonna round your back and try to get your forehead towards your knee. So there is a space between your thigh and your torso, ideally. And hold here. You can choose to have the back knee in the floor if you need to. One more breath here. As you exhale, inhale, looking up. And exhale, then putting the back knee down to the floor. Undo your toes, and here we can relax more, so you relax that front thigh. And the same, when I rock side to side, sort of massaging the joint and observing and feeling what's going on in there. Then here, inhale, opening the left arm up to the ceiling, and instead of collapsing in your shoulder, really push through your right shoulder down, so you're lifting up. At the same time, try to sink your knees down, your hips down to the floor, but extend the left arm up to the ceiling. In your next exhalation, you're gonna keep moving that arm towards the back leg. That means you will rotate until your hips sort of go facing, this right hip goes all the way to the floor for a stretch. And push that right arm down to the floor. Inhale, arm up. One breath here. And exhale, arm down to the floor. I want to inhale, lifting up on our hips. So now, go a little bit higher up. So we want to work on having the action, which is the internal action of tucking your elbows forward and keeping that tuck. Then you try to access the same posture. So keep the tuck as much as you can, and then you go down. Yeah. So we are not actually arching that back. We're actually pushing our tailbone forward. This will give us access to lift high up, and then we'll be able to do a back bend. Okay. But first, you have to have that tuck, then grow up through your chest, shoulders up and down, back, and then you can relax there. Keep lifting up your rib cage away from your pelvis. So it's an active back bend in the sense that you're not collapsing down, you're actually reaching forward and up. And your head is not dying back there, it's actually lifted. Inhale back to the center. And now bend the back knee and see how that feels. Yeah, maybe this is already enough. We may just stay here, just bending the knee. Now, take your right arm to the back, and only if you touch your foot, then you grab it. If your foot is far away, don't do it. Just stay here and just work on bending your knee. Only if you can reach, then reach. And you're gonna pull against opposite forces. So your hand is bringing the foot forward, but your foot is pushing away. And hold. Now the next time you exhale, you're just gonna use the hand to bring the leg forward to your butt, and you're gonna relax the leg. So inhale, and then exhale, bringing your leg forward. And hold. Wherever it reaches, it can be just 1 millimeter. Do not force, just a tiny bit. Or maybe it didn't move, all good. And one more breath. Exhale, relaxing the foot. And now pushing through the front foot to stretch the front leg. And exhale there. Now pressing your hands firmly in the ground, bend a little bit the front leg, but push on the back leg for sort of a pyramid pose. You may need to walk your back foot forward if that's more comfortable, that's all good. So find your level. Now lift your head up and bring that back foot. So lean forward in your front leg, bend that front leg, and lift the back leg off the ground. For a little balance here, so you can choose, and even keeping your back foot on the ground, maybe this is already enough for you, maybe a little bit up. Give priority to have your back leg really straight. So you want to do the balance with your leg super straight, lift your back leg. Now you can also have the front knee bent. It is a lot stronger if the front knee is completely straight. Maybe you will lift your fingertips, or maybe you want to leave them on the floor. Make sure you activate your glute, your core. And exhale, hand down. Bring that foot next to the other, the back foot next to the other, and exhale. Into Uttanasana, forward bend. Bend your knees for the squat. Take your hands to the front, and this time, just hands to the back of your shoulders. And hold for 3 breaths. Looking to the front, trying to stand your chest forward and up. 1, 2, and 3. Extend your hands to the front. Begin to lift up, keeping your knees bent. Look to your thumbs, hold for 2 breaths. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands down. We go again, down to the floor, exhaling. This time we're just gonna inhale all the way halfway to where we were before. And now exhale, torso to your thighs, straightening your legs as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time we take the left leg back. And we repeat our sequence in this side. So the first thing is to rock our hips side to side, making sure we can hold ourselves. We're not just resting there, we're active. Really exploring what feels better for us. Our bodies are all different. We have asymmetries, internal asymmetries. So not everything feels the same for everyone. Inhale, lifting your head up. And exhale, rounding, taking your forehead to your knee. Trying to create a space between your thigh and your chest. Now inhale, lifting up. And then land the back knee down. I want to stay here as well. This time we can relax more, so we can relax this thigh,
Yeah. So hold your body for now in your hands mostly, and the back leg, and rotate as well to lubricate that joint. Really feeling maybe you can go a little deeper just with the movement of rotating side to side. Now open your right arm up to the ceiling. And make sure you're extending, so you're really pushing through the left arm, reaching with the right arm, and at the same time sinking your hips down. Lots of little details to remember. One more breath here. And as you exhale, begin to take that right arm back, parallel to the leg that is behind, and extend it. And here, trying to push to the left side. So it's a deep stretch in the left leg and the hip. Inhale, taking all the path back up, arm to the ceiling. Hold here. And exhale, hand down to the floor. Now lift up as you inhale. And the same, we're gonna go a little bit higher up so we can tuck, work on tucking, and then gently do your best to keep the tuck, or at least the sensation. Yeah, obviously as you go down it will decrease, but the point is that you are actually consciously doing the movement of tucking in. Tuck, 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 tuck. In fact, this same action one should do in the upward facing dog. So you're pushing through your tailbone forward. And at the same time try to sink. So hold this, 5 breaths. Now rotate your shoulders up and back, lift your chest as much as you can, and then look up or maybe arch back. Continuously lifting your chest off, away from the pelvis. One more breath here. Inhale back to the center as you inhale, hands to the floor, and push to straighten the front leg. Actually, before, bend the back leg. Bend the back leg. And for now, just bend and explore how the joint of your knee and your hip bends on your thigh, what's going on in your quadriceps. Yeah. Maybe you are only off the floor, that's all good. You know, it's a process. Don't look for big changes in one day. Usually in yoga, less is more when you just are aware and do the little bit that you need to do. Now, bend your knee and reach your right arm back. And if it's closed, remember you touch, then you grab it. Otherwise, don't do that, okay? And push against each other. 5 breaths. Now in your next exhalation, you release the leg, but you pull with your hand towards your butt, the foot. Okay, so inhale, and exhale, you push. You know, even if it's a tiny bit, tiny bit, it's all good. And hold that millimeter of movement. Breathe in to whatever it is that you feel something, maybe closing your eyes and really, really feeling with curiosity what's going on. Release the foot gently, hand down to the floor, and now inhale, and as you exhale, straighten the front leg. You have a release. One more breath here. Now inhale, lifting your head, bending the front leg, and straightening the back leg, hips up to a pyramid pose. Also known as Parsvattanasana, Tanasana. Remember, you can walk the back leg forward so it's more comfortable for you. Maybe you have a little bend on the front knee, that's good. So do what you can with kindness to your body. Now look forward, bend your front knee, transfer your weight to the front, and gently bring the back leg off the ground. Or maybe just, remember, do the same variation you did before. Maybe your toes are on the ground. Whatever you're doing with the back leg, make sure it's straight and it's active. You want the leg to be strong. And then from there you may be lifted. If you're lifting up, keep it flexed. Keep the back foot flexed. And then you try to find, maybe you have a bend on your front knee. This is also a way to access the posture, and with time you're straightening. Or maybe you are a little bit lower down. So find what suits you and find your balance. Maybe you'll go all the way parallel. One more breath here. And exhale, hands to the floor. Bringing the leg next to the front leg. And exhale down to Uttanasana. Bending your knees to the squat. We're going to hold the squat with the hands to the front. See if you can open your legs, just the knees, keeping your feet wherever they are, just the legs, the knees. And maybe land in between your knees. So if you're a little higher up, it's okay, it will be a little bit tougher in your thighs, and if you need to straighten your legs, go for it. Just work on opening the hips and relaxing down. Now inhale, straightening your legs, forehead to shins or in that direction, and gently rolling up all the way. Hands up to the ceiling. And exhale, hands to the heart center. Now we're gonna do a balance. So I'm gonna give you different options. One is tree pose. If you're gonna do tree pose, choose between beginning to find your balance with your foot on the floor or a wall, or if you're gonna go all the way to full tree pose, just don't put the foot on your knee. Yeah. So from here, you can either stay here. Now for those of you that this is really comfortable, like really comfortable, then you can grab your knee and put it this way, or hold it, holding your foot. If you're holding your foot like this, then you want to have a nice rotation, relax your hip joint. If this is comfortable, then you can press your foot against your thigh and maybe stay there. And see if you are tensing your face. If you are, then smile. So you can relax in the posture and yet be active. So it can become a meditation. Now grab your foot back, release your leg gently to the front, straighten whatever it is that your leg goes. Make sure it's very straight and point your foot. Then slowly down, to the floor. Then the other side, the same, remember the variations. You choose your variation of tree pose. Maybe you do the full variation. Maybe you stay here. And after you have found your balance, then you say, okay, maybe I feel okay grabbing my foot. And if you feel okay, maybe you go to half lotus.
and concentrate on one spot. So lock your eyes in one and only one spot. This will help you find your balance. Your shoulders are down, so your chest is also engaged, gently engaged. Your core. Gently release your foot to the front, point, engage your core. And exhale, slowly, hand to the floor, go to the top of your mat, and go down, sit down, all the way, grab your shins, and from here we're gonna roll down. Exhale, and inhale up. Exhale, and inhale up. Keep the roundness of your back, so that will help you with the momentum. One more time. Inhale up and hold, up. So here you can choose on having your toes touching, it will be easier, or maybe lifting to 90 degrees, extending your arms, lifting your chest, and when you're really comfortable, maybe straightening your legs. Make sure they're pressing together, so you're not just there, your legs are pressing together or pressing together wherever they are. Now gently legs to the floor, extend the legs. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, Paschimottanasana.
And here, close your eyes. And take your attention to your belly button and really try to reach
Your belly button down to the floor, down to your legs. And your chest farther away from your hips, as if you were lengthening continuously every time you inhale. So it's like a wave. You sort of inhale and reach, and then as you exhale, you land with more distance, with more length.
Ten breaths here, with your eyes closed, just feeling and directing your attention where you feel something, so that the breath goes there and it will help open your body. Deepening your breath. Now, keeping your body, everything as it is, only lift your chin up.
Chin up. And then exhale, chin to the chest.
Exhale very slowly, very gently, with much care as possible. Chin in. And then inhale one more time, just the head moves. Inhale, chin up.
And notice what happens everywhere else as you do this. And exhale very gently and slowly to your own level. Take your chin in to the chest.
One last time.
Slowly. Just feeling everything.
And this time, grab your legs where your hands can reach. And as you inhale,
reach up your chin to the ceiling, or your nose to the ceiling, and press your chest forward. And keeping everything as it is, with your arms straight, exhale,
chin to the chest.
Go back, and now take your feet together, knees apart.
And just press them really firmly down to the floor, regardless of how high they are. If they're up here, the same, you actively push them down, even if it's just a millimeter. Yeah, push them down, push your feet together, straightening, using your arms as well to be able to be more straight. Do your best to be as straight as you can so that you are not curving back, but actively pressing your belly button forward. And here, close your eyes as well. Chin a little in. And here, focus on your breath. Your breath going up the spine, towards the top of the head. And then as you exhale, it goes down to the tailbone. And really try to feel the breath going up and down, even if you have to imagine it. And now open your eyes gently. Open your legs as well to a 90-degree angle. And from here, just walk your hands over your legs and find the level where you feel a stretch. Try not to round, but actually try the opposite, pressing your belly button down. So you begin to work on the pivot of your hip. This is also a posture, it's all good. But today we're working on the pivot of our hip, so we can get flat, all the way down to the ground. So work on that belly button forward, chest up, chest to the diagonal. And breathe wherever you feel. It also helps sometimes to press your legs actively down to the ground, but we don't want to over tense. We never want to over tense. So find your level and breathe. Just 5 breaths here. Try to relax. And 5. Inhale, lifting up your torso back to the center. And from here, see if you can lift your head, your legs, and grab your feet. So some of you may be here, some of you here. See if you can go all the way with legs straight. Chest up. And if possible, look up to the ceiling. If you find your balance. So good if you roll, then if you roll back, then go back up until you manage to find your balance. And now release your hands, the legs back to where they were, open. And this time we want to, let's take their hands to the hips, and we're going to try to lift our hips with the legs open. Yep. So remember, we exhale. Then we engage our inner muscles as if we're about to wee and we're holding our wee and our everything. So you contract and you inhale, pushing. So exhale first, engage and push up. It can be a little lift, maybe nothing lifts, it's okay. Remember, everything is happening inside. Hold if you can and exhale down. One more time, inhale, exhale. Engage, inhale, pushing, and hold for 5, 4, but breathe. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna try to smile, okay? So inhale, exhale, push up, and then smile. So you're not using tension in your face or anywhere. You just try to use the muscles, but relax everything. So you can also breathe and exhale down. Whew. Good. Now take your legs to the corners of your mat or hip width apart and begin to roll down for our bridges. So remember to go as slow as you can. And instead of thinking of your core, think of your spine, that you really want to roll it as much, especially the lower back. This part, the pelvis, when we really want to roll as much as we can. Then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, reaching as if you didn't want to reach, and then you hold. You can hold. Reach your shoulders towards your hips. That helps you hold. And exhale down to the floor. Take your arms over your head and arch as you inhale. Just your ribs up. As you take the air in and then exhale, compress your belly button down to the floor, pressing your belly button, sort of massaging your tailbone. And relax. Now take your arms next to your legs, to your hips. Bring your feet towards your bum and prepare to lift up, pushing your hips up to the ceiling, stretching your hips flexors, activating your glutes. And we're going to repeat rolling 3 times. So at your own pace, begin to go down, really massaging your back. It's more about mobility, especially down in the lower back, mobility, and pressing each vertebra down to the floor. And then go back again as you inhale, beat by beat. Think of feeling all your spine. And then exhale one more time down, rolling, really massaging, like against the floor. You really want to feel each beat of your back, like becoming very aware of all those parts we don't really touch during the day. And the next time that you go up, you want to stay up, really pushing your hips up, reaching with your tailbone away from your shoulders and up to the ceiling. If you can interlace your hands under your body, and then wiggle your shoulders so you can sort of go over your shoulders and push further your chest towards your chin. You ideally shouldn't be feeling your lower back. If you are, then you may go a little bit down, or even push your hips more up so that you create more space, and breathe more towards your ribs. Ideally working on pulling your pelvis away from your rib cage. And then exhale, releasing your arms, rolling gently down, very slowly, with as much control and awareness as possible. And now take your knees to your chest and see if you can really compress them. So grab your shins from the, say, just up above the ankles, so that you have more reach towards pressing them down very low to the ground. Well, not to the ground, but towards your bum. So try to press your heels towards your bum. So you're really a very tight ball. And then walk your hands toward your knees and press them more towards your chest. And then lift your feet up so you can grab your feet with your hands for a happy baby posture. And sort of rock side to side. Relaxing here. Maybe you can reach the ground, maybe not. See if you can straighten your legs or keep them relaxed. And just rock one side to one side and the other. If you are really flexible, then you can have your legs straight all the way. Otherwise, just leave them whatever and however they sort of stay. Still grab them through the feet, by the feet, and rocking side to side. And now close your legs and take your right leg over your left leg, and maybe you can even hook your feet. Not necessary. First give priority to the knee, and then maybe you can also interlace your feet, and then roll to the left side. For a nice twist, look to the right side, palms facing up, and notice your breath. Make sure you breathe to the side of the body. And in this one, we want to relax here, not forcing the twist. just relax. Breathing deeply. Now take the knees back to the center and interlace the other way. So left over right, and then the loop continues with the feet, and roll to your right side. Really relaxing there. Palms facing up, you look to the left side. Keeping your eyes closed so your mind is less wandering around in objects. Now inhale, legs back to the center and do the crossing. One last squeeze, or maybe some little circles with your hips. So you sort of circle your knees. That way you sort of have a massage in your lower back against the floor. And then now gently straightening your legs for a nice Shavasana, a rest in corpse pose. Really allowing everything to drop down to the floor, your arms, your feet, your shoulders. And take your attention to your toes. And try to feel the big toes. And then the next toe. And the third toe. And the fourth toe. And then the little toe. And keep your toes in your awareness. Now take your attention to your fingertips. Your thumbs, then the index fingers, then the middle fingers, then the ring fingers, and then the pinkies. Now take your attention to the palms of your hands and see if you can feel the palms of your hands. And tell your body to relax more and more. And lastly, take your attention to your breath and just observe how you feel. Observe how different it is from the beginning of the class, or whatever you can find as experience. Just being here without any expectation or desire. Just stay in the now. And you can decide or choose to stay here for 10 more minutes at your house or whatever you are doing the class. Do what your body feels or needs. If you feel like you want to stay, then just simply stay there. Otherwise, take your feet, your legs and your arms all together next to your body. Bend your left knee. Take your left arm towards your right shoulder and rock yourself towards the right side using your right arm as a pillow. Taking a couple of breaths here before you sit down. And keeping your eyes closed, find your way up to a seated posture. Ardha Siddhasana. Taking your hands to your heart center in a prayer mudra, or namaskar position is also called. Noticing your breath, noticing
your awareness. And we're gonna say one long Om to close the class. As you inhale, take your air down to your belly. Gently take your hands down to your knees, palm facing up, and very slowly open your eyes and try to keep your same sensation of having your eyes closed but having your eyes open, so you keep your peace with you through the day. Thank you for joining me today and hoping to see you next Thursday.
Namaste.
Thank you. Enjoy.